Hi, it's Brian from Africa Raw. Have you ever dreamt about having an adventure to Africa, but you're worried about being safe, bad press and whatever? You're a bit uncertain where and when to go. Africa's a big continent, there's 54 countries there. And you don't want to be on a trip where you just feel like a number. You know what I mean? On a bus, on a bus, on a bus, on a bus. So, what you really want is an amazing trip of a lifetime. To have heart-stopping experience of the African wildlife and to have that unique cultural experience like no other place in the world. And would you like to play a part in helping others that are less fortunate than us? So it's an exclusive trip. We fly to each destination so you can spend more time immersing yourself in the area that we're in at the time. I'm very passionate about Africa, its wildlife and its people, and I just love sharing it. Now what I'd like to do is share my story with you, how I came to be in Africa, why I love it so much. So let's go have a look. So this is my story. So it all started about 7 years ago. I had my first trip and fell in love with the real Africa. It was just full of beauty, full of adventure. It just captivated me. The wildlife and the travelling around was unbelievable. So I was offered an opportunity to purchase some land in a private game park in Swaziland. I mean, who'd give that up? So what I did is build a tented lodge in Swaziland's private game park. I started doing trips. I took 8 trips with families and friends, and then I started getting asked by others to take them over. And thus, Africa Raw was born. Alright, let's begin our 18-day tour. So we start in Johannesburg. So we only go to the safe areas. The place is just full of amazing sights, but also shows you the raw Africa as well. Down the Soweto, we have a look at the art, the culture there. We go to Mandela's house, get to know a bit of the history and what went on as time's gone through South Africa. Some amazing art. We also go down to the Lion Park. It's your first experience of African wildlife. It's really good. Then we fly down to Swaziland. This is my place, so it's my favourite place. We stay in tented lodges. It's glamping, not camping. It is absolutely superb. Alright, so we've got all the amenities, plus you get to walk around this park, or you can ride around this park, and you can get up close and personal to some pretty amazing animals. We also go out and into the villages, come and meet the kids. They're absolutely stunning and beautiful people, and they just love a hug. So we spend a lot of time actually learning the culture of the local areas and just meeting the people, so you get to know the real Swaziland, what they have to put up with, what they endure, how they survive. I've also started a little library for the kids, so that's just part of me. I love helping it. We get out and have a look at the true culture of Swaziland, and from there we bang up to a private game reserve in Sabi Sands. Now Sabi Sands is private, so it means the general public can't come in. It's just people that are booked into the lodges that drive around. So when we go for a sighting, we're the only one there. The accommodation is amazing. You're right in the middle of African bush. You get up close and personal to some pretty wild animals. Now we go out on 2 drives a day, a morning and an afternoon. This is the sort of vehicle that we drive around in, so you get great photos, you're in all the elements, and you see some amazing sights. This is the true wildlife experience of Africa. And I must say, these are all my photos, and I just use a Lumix point and play. So for photography, it is amazing. The colours are beautiful, everything about it is just nice. And you see some unusual sights. Lions up close with their cubs. And this is all close to where we stay. They can walk around the perimeter. So you're in amongst it. You're right in amongst it to see the real Africa. There's no vets, there's no feeding them. It's just raw Africa. This is it, and that's what you're going to experience. This photo is amazing. I've been with a ranger that couldn't believe I took it. He's been working there for 15 years. So this is the sort of stuff you're going to be amongst. And it's per chance. You just got to be at the right place at the right time. And for me, I've got some great photos. And the experience with the people that work there. Everyone's passionate about the wildlife, how to help it, how to save it, and help it keep it for the next generations. From there we fly down to Cape Town. Now, Lonely Planet voted Cape Town one of the top 5 destinations to go to in the world. And I have to agree, it is a great place. It's very social. The food and the wine is amazing. And also the history. We go out to Robben Island where Mandela was incarcerated. You get taken around there by a neck screw, so that's quite interesting to get the real story. You've got Table Mountain, which I think everyone knows about. You go up there, the views are stunning, and just the feeling up there. We'll take a trip down to the Cape of Good Hope where you'll see some unusual sights. Penguins in Africa, who would have thought? And then we finish the trip to go back up to Johannesburg in an amazing train trip that'll take you through some sights like you've never seen before. The landscape is amazing and cars can't go through it. It's just a train line built 100 years ago. It's an experience well worth having. So I'll give you the conclusions. It's got all the internal flights and the train trip. It's got all the accommodation. It's got the breakfasts, it's got the lunches, it's got the dinners, it's got all the game park fees, it's got all the drives, it's got all the road trips, all the border crossings and the local tipping. In other words, I'm looking after every step of everything for you on this trip. It's all covered. Basically, you just got to rock up with your suitcase and I'll look after you for the rest of the 18 days. You've got that excellent chance of seeing the Big Five. It's not a zoo, so you happen to trackers and that'll find you what we want to see. And it's very up close and personal. So that's it, that's my story. 18 exhilarating days in untamed Africa. Why don't you let me take you there? Thanks. Right, so who is this trip for? It's not a backpackers. We do 4-star accommodation. It's a very special adventure with a maximum of 6 guests for those that want to immerse themselves in some amazing wildlife adventure and experience the true culture of Africa. Also, we play a big part on helping others less fortunate than us. It's fully guided by me to places I know very well, and I'll give you an amazing experience. I'll look after you every part of the trip. I meet you at the start of the trip at Johannesburg, and I'm with you for every step of the adventure till unfortunately we've got to say goodbye in Johannesburg. It's very exclusive. I only do this 7 times a year and it's very popular. I've taken people from across the globe, taken people from Canada, Ireland, Europe, and of course Australia. Now the price runs between about 12 and 15,000 US, which is very reasonable. So if you're interested, book a 10-minute chat with me. Just click the button on the Africa Raw website and I'd love to have a chat with you. might take a bit more than 10 minutes because I just love talking about it. My passion is to share Africa with you. And the bottom line is, I want you to be a traveller, not a tourist. Hope you enjoy.